Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the Nike Free Trainer 5.0 for 2014. Now as you can see, it comes in your standard orange Nike Performance box. We'll take a quick look at the label. It's listed as the Free Trainer 5.0. The size is 9.5 US. The colorway is Volt and Turbo Green. And the retail price sticker is ripped off, but these guys retail for $100 US. So as far as Nike Free models are concerned, these are relatively inexpensive, at least in my opinion. So I'll get this box out of the way, and we'll take a closer look at the shoe itself. So for 2014, the Nike Free Trainer 5.0 has pretty much undergone a complete overhaul. It replaces the finger trap kind of crisscross pattern through the midfoot Free Trainer 5.0 from 2013, which is a shoe that I was personally a huge fan of, not only from a look standpoint, but also from a performance standpoint. I think I wore those shoes more in 2013 than I did any other model, just because I liked them so much. So I was very excited to see the 2014 model, not to mention that I think it looks really good as well. It's definitely a much more simple design, but at the same time, there are several unique aspects of this shoe that to me make it really interesting in terms of performance, as well as just visual styling if you want to wear them as an everyday casual shoe, which I'm sure many of you will. Now, if you guys are interested in purchasing a pair of these for yourself, there will be a direct buy it now link in the description, so be sure to go ahead and check those out. But as far as this colorway is concerned, this is pretty much the launch color for the Free Trainer 5.0. It's what you're seeing in the majority of the ads and commercials for this particular shoe. It features a predominantly Volt Yellow upper, which is extremely bright. For those of you that are unfamiliar with Volt Yellow, it's essentially like highlighter yellow on a shoe. It's like glowing in the dark in the daytime. They're as bright as they get as far as colors go, at least from what I've experienced on a pair of shoes. So if you're not looking to stand out, this is probably not a good colorway for you. And then acting as your main accent color, you're going to have what they call Turbo Green, which is essentially teal. And I'm not sure how it's going to show up on camera. From what I can tell on the screen, it appears to be a little bit lighter on camera than it is in person. But if you guys want a more accurate depiction of the colors and the visuals of the shoe, be sure to check out the pictures that I took personally of my pair on the review page of my website, which is also linked in the description, because the product pictures on the kind of store websites aren't always the most accurate. So be sure to go ahead and check those out, again, if you want a more accurate look as to how these do look in person. Now, in terms of performance aspects and the materials used on the shoe, it's still a training model, and I get a lot of questions all the time. What's the difference between the Trainer 5.0 and the Free Run 5.0? The difference is the running shoe is designed for running, where the training shoe is more of an all-round type of shoe. The Free Run 5.0 is something that I would recommend for people who are doing slightly more long-distance running in a straight line, running at a steady pace, not really making hard cuts or lateral changes of direction. Whereas the Free Trainer 5.0 is not necessarily designed for those long-distance runs, although you could do them, but more so designed for, again, doing sprints and drills and running through cones and making hard lateral cuts. It's a more supportive shoe, a more structurally stable shoe in comparison to that running model. So one is not necessarily better than the other. It really depends on what you're going to be doing in your shoes in terms of whether you should go for the training model or the running model. So just wanted to quickly explain that, because I know a lot of you guys will ask that particular question. So for 2014, the training model is pretty straightforward. It's not an overly complex design like we saw with that finger trap upper on the previous year's model. But basically you have a very rugged mesh upper. It's almost like a nylon type of material. So as far as mesh is concerned, this one feels very rugged, but at the same time it's still soft and flexible, very, very comfortable on your foot. And it has this kind of cool weather mapping pattern throughout, which is a little detail that you can't really see in the majority of the online pictures that I've seen. So again, something that really does look good in person and really makes this an attractive option as an everyday casual shoe, at least in my opinion. So you have that kind of nylon mesh material, which is going to be a little more structurally sound in terms of providing stability, but the majority of the stability is going to come from this adaptive fit system that Nike has implemented here, where basically you have these kind of strands of nylon that act as the kind of lace holes for the shoe itself. But when you pull the laces tight, these strands of nylon go right to the base of the outsole. So again, when you pull those laces tight, you have all these strands wrapping your foot as closely or as tight as you possibly want them, depending on how tight you like to tie the laces. And that's really going to provide your lateral support, when you do make hard lateral cuts, and it's going to hold your foot inside the shoe, not allow it to move around, giving you that nice responsive feel. Now, as you notice, there isn't actually a tongue on this shoe. It's one giant piece, and because of that, it is a little bit difficult to put the shoe on, I noticed, in comparison to the previous year model. So if you do have very wide feet, it might be best to try these on in stores, or maybe even go a half size up, just to give yourself an easier time getting the shoe on. But I went true to size, and like I said, I don't even have wide feet, and I found that getting my foot inside the shoe was a little bit more difficult than I perhaps would have liked. The reasoning for the difficulty is the opening's not very big, and you have a much larger plastic heel counter on the inside of the heel here in comparison to last year's model. It's a cut a little bit higher as well, so it's going to have a nice supportive feel, especially in terms of lateral support when you are making those hard lateral cuts. But for the most part, feels very comfortable, and once you get your foot on there, you're not going to have any issues with support or comfort at all. Now, in terms of the insole, it is fully removable. It's got a mesh liner, as you guys can see. It says Nike Free right there, and it's pretty much the same insole you're going to find on the Run model. It's kind of like an Ortholite, very spongy, soft material, but the majority of the feel and cushioning you're going to get from this shoe is from the all-new Free Trainer 5.0 outsole. Now, just like the Run model, they've gone for that kind of hexagon split up design, so it's still very, very flexible in pretty much all directions. I wouldn't say it's as flexible as the Free Runs, but still very, very flexible nonetheless. You have your rubber in kind of all areas of the bottom, much more rubber than what you're going to find on that running model, again, to allow for that little bit of extra grip. So you have this rubber going across the heel area, and it's not a standard rubber, it's kind of like a recycled type of rubber, so it's got these little different specks of color in there. Another little detail that you probably won't notice in the online pictures. So you have it all across the heel, on both sides of the forefoot, and then right at the tip of the toe. So whether you're making lateral cuts or sprinting forward, you're going to have traction on pretty much all the important areas of the foot, whereas all of the exposed kind of turbo green area is pretty much just exposed Phyllite foam, and that's what the entire midsole is made out of, a Phyllite foam. It's very, very lightweight. It's responsive. It feels cushioned enough. It's not going to allow you to sink into the shoe, but it's just enough impact protection to where you're not going to be uncomfortable, but it's still going to provide that nice low profile barefoot responsive feel, which is what I personally look for from the Nike Free line, and honestly what the Nike Free line is all about. So if you're looking for something that is going to be more along the lines of a barefoot style shoe with that 5.0 base, which I believe is going to have about an 8mm offset from the heel to the forefoot, the Free Trainer 5.0 is really a great shoe from the looks of it. If you want something more along the lines of a barefoot style shoe to train in, you might want to go for the 3.0 model from Nike. It's going to be a little bit more low profile, a little bit more lightweight. But again, it really just depends on what you want. But for me, the Free 5.0 is generally the training shoe that I like to go for in terms of overall performance and having a good blend of comfort and cushioning while still maintaining that barefoot aesthetic. So that's pretty much it as far as all the tech specs and what you need to know about the shoe. And move on next to a quick on feet so you can get a better idea as to how these shoes look and what the sizing is like. Alright, here's a look at the Free Trainer 5.0s with a pair of shorts. In my opinion, this is a great summer shoe, especially in this colorway. And for the most part, they're very, very comfortable, whether you want to wear them as a performance shoe or as an everyday casual wear shoe. In terms of comfort, you have a very flexible mesh upper when in combination with this heavily segmented Free outsole, just makes for a very natural feel on feet, which is what the Free line is all about. In terms of cushioning, there definitely is enough underfoot cushioning with this shoe for either performance purposes or casual everyday purposes. It's just not a spongy type of cushion. It's more of a responsive kind of a low profile type of cushion, I guess, but nonetheless very, very comfortable. Again, in terms of sizing, they are fairly narrow to get on, but once they're on, it's definitely not a narrow fitting shoe, and the mesh for the most part is fairly flexible, especially in the forefoot toe box area. So again, if you have wide feet, you may want to go half a size up. For the most part, if you have average width to narrow feet, you can definitely stay true to size. They're just a little bit tricky to get on, and to me, in a size 9.5 US, which is my normal size, they fit absolutely perfect. So that's pretty much it as far as what they look like on feet with a pair of shorts. Move on next to what they look like on feet with a pair of pants. Alright, here's a quick look at the Free Trainer 5.0s on feet with a pair of pants. And while this is intended as more of a performance-oriented type of shoe, it's definitely very wearable as a casual shoe with a pair of sweatpants or something like that. The simple design definitely lends itself well to casual wear in my opinion. And while this is definitely one of the more out there, vibrant colorways, they're going to be available in a ton of colorways across the span of 2014. I'm sure of that. There's already plenty of colorways available if you guys are interested in something perhaps a little bit more neutral, low profile. But for the most part, really clean looking shoe, really comfortable shoe, and definitely wearable in pretty much whatever way you want. Alright guys, that's it for my review of the Nike Free Trainer 5.0 for 2014. Really nice design, extremely comfortable shoe. It retains that Nike Free flexible outsole style. So if that's what you're looking for in a training shoe, then this is definitely a great option overall. Not to mention for $100, it's not going to break the bank. Now again, if you guys are interested in ordering a pair of these for yourself, there will be a buy it now link down below in the description. And if you want to get a better idea as to how these actually do look in person, you can check out my images of the shoe on the review page of my website, also linked down below. If you have any questions or suggestions for shoes you'd like to see featured on the channel, be sure to leave those down below in the comments section as well. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe for more sneaker reviews. All of my social media information is down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.